Hello everybody and welcome back to Jordan's Dreamlight Designs. Today I will be showing you how to create this cherry blossom dress. I thought it was perfect for spring and I love how it turned out, so I wanted to create a tutorial for you guys. So the first thing that I'm doing with these shapes is I am actually creating a one shoulder type effect, and I thought it turned out really cool. You do have to kind of learn how to place them correctly, but it does end up turning out really cool. So the square is for the arm itself, and then the triangle, once it's placed correctly, kind of creates the effect on the chest of the one shoulder when it's positioned. Okay, and then we're going to take these two squares, make them a different color so you can see them. And then we are going to use them to, again, when they're placed correctly, use them to kind of finish off the one shoulder effect across the chest. And then we're going to put one on the back as well. To create the one shoulder effect in the back. And then we're going to get it lined up, which can take some time. I'm also really nitpicky about things lining up, so. Okay, and then we're going to take the scissors tool to make them disappear. Okay. And then the gradients take forever to line up, first of all, so this part takes a while, but we're going to take those two gradients and go ahead and put them on. Right now we have one, and then we'll duplicate it. And then once they're finally lined up, you'll see later why I have these gradients here. But we're gonna go ahead and add them now. And again, like I said, it takes forever to get them lined up, especially if you are on Switch like me. So let's, okay. Now we're going to take the gradients again, get them lined up. Lots of gradients on this dress, but it works. They end up turning out really cool. And then this one, we're going to use the globe on the bottom, and we're going to make the gradients as big as you can size them. Try your best to line them up. It's really hard with gradients to get them like perfectly lined up. Just try your best to not get them to overlap or to get the gap. It's okay if there's like a slight one, but try your best. Okay, and here's where the cherry blossoms come in. So we're gonna start adding those. So we're gonna start with the cherry blossom bunch. Gonna add it and then duplicate it. And then move them just a little bit. And then we're going to grab a single and resize that just a little. And then we're going to move it underneath them so that way it's hiding just a little bit. And then I realized those were a little bit too low, so I moved them. Oops. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on the top. But we're going to, once again, use the globe, duplicate, move them just a little bit. Grab a single, and then resize it as small as you possibly can. And then use the globe icon. And then move them underneath those two cherry blossom bundles. Okay, and this is probably one of my favorite parts of the dress. We're going to make it look kind of like a cherry blossom tree with cherry blossoms coming off of it. And in order to do that, we need to grab the boot from Wally. And we'll move it here in a second. So now we're going to take it, and you might have to only move it a few layers at a time. I know I do because I can't move it exactly where I want it all at once. So we're going to move it to where it's underneath all of the bottom gradients. And then so that way it looks kind of like this, just like a little bit of like the leaves from it are sticking out, but overall it kind of creates an effect like a cherry blossom tree. And we're gonna put 5 overall on it. We're gonna put 3 on the outer edges, and the ones on the outer edges have to have the wrap icon, so the globe icon on the very end on it. Otherwise, if you don't use that, it can distort the edges it'll end up distorting the flowers, and that's not a good look. So, and then we're gonna put 2 in the middle, and you want to not use the globe icon on those, otherwise they won't be as small as they are. So now we have different sizes on the cherry blossoms. Okay, so now we're going to finish the bottom of the dress, the bottom hem, by alternating between the cherry blossom bundles and the single cherry blossoms. Gonna rotate this one so that way when we duplicate it, the flowers in the middle are touching and connecting. And in this case, the single cherry blossoms are actually going to be on top instead of underneath the cherry blossom bundles like they were with the other ones. Okay, and this part is really kind of picky because you have to make it look like one flower in the middle, and that's kind of challenging to do, so it takes like rotating it until it looks like just right. It's kind of hard to do. As you can see, we're gonna keep rotating it until it looks somewhat like one flower. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing for around the waist. We're going to alternate between the single cherry blossom flowers and the bundles of cherry blossom flowers until we have finished that. The only difference is that we will not have a single cherry blossom flower at the end like we did on the bottom. Okay, now we're going to move on to the bodice portion of the dress. So we're going to start by putting cherry blossoms up here. And positioning until they're just right. Okay, and now we're going to grab a single cherry blossom and put it in between them. And now we're going to grab more cherry blossoms to try and connect where our cherry blossoms are. So like the top portion of cherry blossoms and then the ones around the waist. And that needs to go underneath, and we're going to resize it, make it bigger, and move that over, and yeah, no, I had 2 cherry blossoms on each side, not 1. So we're gonna add another one. And remember, because it's on a side, if we don't use the globe icon, it can distort it and make it look really weird. Okay, and now we are going to add cherry blossoms to the one shoulder part of the dress. And I'm going to use the up icon on that. Now we're going to, for this part, we're going to use the bundle of cherry blossoms and make it small enough that it doesn't get distorted. Right. And for the shoulder part, we're going to use a single one and wrap it. And we move these ones around a little bit so they're showing up over the single cherry blossom on the shoulder. Okay, and now we're going to add a couple more gradients to the sleeves. We're going to put one down at the bottom of the arm, and again, getting the gradients to line up perfectly is kind of annoying sometimes. But it takes lots of patience, but we'll get there. And this one's gonna go on the shoulder. So once it's there, we're gonna resize it until it's not as big. Size it and move it just until it's in the right spot. And now we're gonna find the right cherry blossom. And, oh, we'll undo that. And now we're gonna move it to where it's over that gradient. Like that. Okay, and so sometimes what happens when you put stuff on the shoulder like that is that it clips. So like that cherry blossom flower we put on there clipped onto the arm. So we're gonna cover it with this square. And we can use the scissors tool and get rid of that clipping. That is one way to get rid of the clipping effect. There are some other ways, that's one of them. And then we're going to use just a couple more to use this last one to connect these two parts to kind of create like a keyhole in the back to kind of match the keyhole we have up front. And then that is it for this dress. That is it for this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, remember to like the video and subscribe to my channel. It will really help me a lot. And I will catch you guys in the next one.